New year, same salty captains. It's the Salty Dog Podcast.
Let's get salty!
What's up, guys? I'm Clash, he's Dookie. We are back a little bit late this year, later than we intended, but we're here now.
Ahoy there, mateys.
Ahoy, oy.
Yeah, what is it? Excuse me as I scratch my leg. What is it? The 11th today. So we missed one.
We missed one.
Yeah, but
So,
you know.
Episode 29. It would be 30. Actually, it would be a lot more than that.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. It'd be on like, if we hadn't missed any ever, we'd be on like 40.
Yeah, which, hey, it's gonna happen, obviously, especially to us. So, anyway, how's your new year been?
Good.
So far.
I was just kind of, 2017 was kind of a bitch, and I was just kind of waiting out the clock, and I've started 2018 with a nice new life plan that I kicked off this Monday. I've been streaming on my channel and been going to the gym.
Ooh,
trying to eat
nice.
healthy,
Yeah.
Still drinking
See,
beer.
your knees are looking really good. I can tell.
Oh, thank
you're
you.
Back
Can
at
I get those out of the shot?
Do you like that subtle hint?
But I haven't played a ton of Hearthstone, just with all the holiday busyness and things like such as. So
Yes, definitely like such as. I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I'm also trying to get my stream off the ground. Obviously, we're streaming on my channel right now. We've always streamed on my channel for the show, but I've got a buddy who's doing some artwork for me, and I'm going to start my own stream. And also, we are streaming Salty Dog gameplays on Tuesdays now. We just did our first Tuesday. For anybody who might have missed it, we are going to be streaming on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern now, which is 4 your time, right?
yes,
Yes.
4 Pacific, 7 Eastern.
Right. So, 2018 starting out strong.
That's right. We're gonna kick its ass. Yeah, I guess our goal is we're trying to get Twitch affiliate, which we totally would have had already, but streaming once a week isn't enough. So
Right.
you need like 7 streams per month. So we're gonna just do 2 a week, and then that'll be like 8 a month. So
Yeah, that gets us there, and
gets us
hopefully
there.
I'll be able to. It's kind of hard with I still have a full-time job and all that, but hoping to do some solo streaming as well. Another thing we wanted to mention is that our gameplay streams on Tuesdays will not always be Hearthstone only.
yes.
For anybody
Yeah,
who is not into it, that.
Yeah, we had just some discussions about how to kind of switch up the formula of the show, because it's a show about one game and one game only, and while Hearthstone will always be the main focus, it's can you really expect yourself to play the same game your entire life?
Yeah.
Things come and go, and to be serious about Hearthstone, you really have to dedicate a lot of your time to it, and there's always going to be other stuff that we're wanting to play. So maybe starting next week, we're planning on introducing a new segment for just like miscellaneous gaming, like things that maybe we have played or are looking forward to, or I don't know, cool news that's been announced. So that's something that's in the works. I don't think we're going to do any of that this week. And to go along with that, like Clash said, our Tuesday stream may or may not be Hearthstone. Could be whatever. So
Yes, we're both very obsessive personalities when it comes to gaming, so there's bound to be some titles hitting in 2018 that we're going to want to talk about and stream and share with you guys. Definitely we're looking into Monster Hunter Worlds as one of those.
Yes.
And possibly, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dauntless, but it's this game that pretty much looks like it's just ripping off Monster Hunter, which, I mean, hey, it's a good game, so
yeah,
we might be checking that out, too.
yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and other stuff. But plus, I get asked these questions, like, what was your favorite game to play in 2017? And then I look back and I'm like, All I played in 2017 was Hearthstone. Like, pretty much. Like, I really didn't play anything. I don't have a console.
You could have played Samus Returns.
I could have. I do have access to that.
You have my copy.
Yes, I do. I do want to play it. Damn it, I will. I'll play it, okay?
Play it. That was my game. I think that was the only, like, new game I played in 2017 was probably Samus Returns.
Right.
But it was really good. I liked it.
So anyway, look out for those changes in the future to the show, and check out our Tuesday gameplay streams. And we're gonna be doing a bunch of cool stuff. Once we hit affiliate, we'll get our emotes and all that kind of fun stuff, and we'll be modding some people and everything in the near future as well. So, but onto Hearthstone. This is going to be just a Hearthstone-centric show, just like our normal show, and there's actually a bunch of stuff, new news that's been talked about just in the last couple days, which is awesome. So we have good timing still, even though we are late. we arrive precisely when we mean to.
That's right.
So I guess we'll just
Gandalf.
kick off. Yes. Pirates and wizards both do that. So.
Yeah.
We're going to kick off the show like we always do with our news and meta talk. So let's hop over to that segment.
What's happening?
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Time is money, friend. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
All right, so let's see. Up first here, there's been some chatter from the Broad talking about a upcoming patch for next month, or this month. Well, no, next month. Wow, I'm so out of it right now. In February. So he's confirmed that we're gonna get a patch in February. And this basically, I'm just gonna read the tweet exactly. It says, "Been reading discussions about balance. We have an update coming next month, which includes some cool events, and that is when any balance changes would happen. We'll be sure to announce any changes as the patch gets closer."
That sounds like there's no guarantee there's going to be balance changes, but if they do happen, that's when.
Correct. Which, I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that we expect to hear. Like, no, non-committal answers.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely some cards that could be balanced. I don't think the meta's, like, incredibly imbalanced right now. There's definitely some cards that have been, dominating portions of the meta and stuff, but that's always the case. The thing that stands out more to me in this is the cool events thing. That's what I'm always looking for, is like, when are we getting new stuff added, not like free stuff, which is it's always cool to get free stuff, like we've been getting Kobolds cards for free and stuff lately, but I want to see more stuff like this, like events. They did really good last year, actually, having like the winter festival and the summer festival, and I like to see stuff like that happening.
Yeah, definitely. The more like just new random stuff they throw at us, like the better, in my opinion. Like I was so excited for Dungeon Run. Yeah. And I really liked Dungeon Run, and it I sunk many hours into completing Dungeon Run, but now that they're all done and they don't give any other rewards just for doing whatever, then it's kind of dead. And the same with the Lich King heroic battles and every adventure that's come out. Like, there's just no reason to ever revisit them aside from, like, just they were kind of fun.
Yeah, like if you're just really not feeling playing against another person in the game of Hearthstone, pretty much all you have are those adventures that you may or may not have because, there's new players to the game. Those adventures aren't even really available or relevant anymore. So anytime new events are brought up, that's exciting. Even if it's something like the light versus shadow. You remember that thing? What was the Void October Brawl? Yeah, the October Brawl with the Void October card Brawl. Back and the I feel like that was one of the worst ones they've done.
It was not well implemented, but like conceptually, like I don't know, I like stuff like that, and I want to see more stuff. I want to open the client and be like, "Yo, you can do this," and I'm like, "Sweet."
Yes, like like stuff happening when you open it, people talking to you and stuff. That's like really exciting when you see there's a new event or God forbid a new button. We haven't seen one of those in a while, but
there's space for it.
Hopefully we get that new button at some point. But there is some speculation going around right now that the at least one of the cool events that he could be referring to for the February patch is the arena only cards that we've mentioned before, but kind of dropped off. Like, I haven't thought about these arena only cards in a while. Like, it kind of totally dropped off my radar because it's been a while.
I forgot that was happening.
Yeah, so we forgot about it, obviously, and it was kind of cool. It was almost like hearing about it all over again because I forgot what the cards were and reread them, and they're just as crazy as they were before. So I have those up here just in case anybody hasn't had a chance to look at them yet, or you forgot what they were. Basically, it's one card per class that will, possibly be available when you draft Arena, whenever they decide to kick this event off, which we're not sure if that's February, but it would be cool. But we'll just go down the line here, starting with Hunter, which is they're going to be getting the Arena-only card Deadeye, which is a 2-mana spell that says for the rest of the game, your hero power can also target minions. So obviously, that's really good. It basically turns Hunter's hero power into shadow form from Priest.
Yeah.
Giving it the ability to target minions as well as face, which makes it infinitely better, of course.
It's less mana than shadow form.
It is less mana as well, but it also can't upgrade to 3 damage. So
yeah, but
that
that was just a big joke anyway.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Just damn it. Void form is all there is anymore.
If you just if you can kill something the turn you play it, you're not even losing tempo. Really, you're that's an even trade.
Yeah,
so.
It's an investment in your future, right? And it is a lot easier to pay 2 mana than it is to pay 3 mana for it.
It really is. Turn 4, you can just play that and snipe something, and you've already made your money back, basically.
Yeah, and it's just going to be cool to, keep your eye out for these cards. I'm not even sure if they'll end up being auto drafts or not. There might be other things that pop up, but I do think some of them are stronger than others. Deadeye is pretty decent, but, Polymorph, question mark. I guess that's how you'd say the title of this card. I'm not sure. Yeah, Polymorph shrugs. I don't feel like I would be stoked to draft this. It's 5 mana mage spell. Choose a minion, discover a new minion, and transform that minion into it. So, it's not totally RNG because it is a discover, right? But if you're trying to remove, let's say your opponent sticks a big minion and you're trying to use it as an actual polymorph, removal type thing, you could only get options to give them really good minions, or if you're trying to give yourself a tempo swing, turn a 1-drop or something into something better, you might just not have great options. 5 mana is kind of a lot to pay for that,
Yeah, I see it as strong utility because if they drop a threat, let's say they drop a Void Lord and you're like, oh god, how am I going to deal with that?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I can turn it into something else. And then, or in the situation where you're in a pickle and you're like, damn, if I could just get a taunt minion right now, or just something better than what I have to, reach lethal or something. So I don't know. I like the utility of it, but I bet in practice it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, it's a little bit too just RNG based for me. Especially at 5 mana, would this have been too strong just at Polymorph's cost for 4? Because I'd feel a lot better about it if it was 4. But
yeah, I definitely get that. I guess you're paying for utility, really. So.
Yeah, just the option or whatever, but it's just so out of your hands once you use it.
But no matter what option you choose, you're overpaying. So,
yes, pretty much. Unless you get Yashiraj or something off of it. You know what I mean? And you're actually using it on your own minion. But hey, remains to be seen. But I think that the next card just outclasses both of the ones we've seen, just hands down, which is the warrior card. It's a weapon called Blazing Longsword. 3 mana 2/3 with the cleave ability, if you will. It damages the minions next to whatever you attack. So that's just incredible removal. Everybody who plays Arena knows that weapon removal is some of the best that you can get in Arena, because it's repetitive. You can get, rather than Shadow Word Pain, you get card for card, you equip Fiery War Axe or Blazing Longsword, and you're getting some real value out of this. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the same like stat spread essentially as Fiery War Axe. It's instead of a 3/2, it's 2/3, but it still adds up to 6. Same mana cost, but it's actually not 6. It's like 18 damage packed into this thing. So
yeah, if you're managing to hit good targets with this, I mean, I think this is going to be really dominant. And I think Warrior's been pretty bad in Arena for a while, so maybe this is like the compensation for that, because it's really good.
Yeah,
especially compared to some of these other ones. Like the Paladin one, I'm not so stoked on either, which is Hand of Salvation, which is a secret, so obviously 1 mana. When your second minion dies in a turn, revive it. So I guess this is kind of designed to play around like the stereotypical check for Paladin, which is to kill their weakest minion first. So
and it revives at full health.
Yeah, it does revive at full health, and it is the second target, which makes it a little bit tougher. So, but basically, since this is like the stronger secret, now you're just like always assume it's Hand of Salvation, probably.
Right. Because what would you rather have happen? Kill a good target first and have it come back with 1 health?
Yeah.
Or kill the good target second and have it come back at full health?
Yeah, exactly. So now, pretty much, like, a secret comes down in Arena from Paladin, and you're just assuming it's Hand of Salvation.
Yeah.
Because it is really good. But, yeah, it's one of those things, just like secrets usually are, if your opponent doesn't have, like, the correct way to trigger it, if there's no way they can play around it, it's going to be pretty oppressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the Priest one is just in line with Priest in general. It's just totally weird and having nothing to do with anything that Priest has ever done before, which is just kind of what its identity has become. It's called
Priest's identity is it has no identity.
Yeah, pretty much. Anduin is just like, he just doesn't know who the hell he is. It's called Generous Spirit. It's a 3 mana spell that says, give a friendly minion to your opponent. Just like, here you go! And then you get to draw 3 cards. So, I mean, 3 mana for 3 cards is awesome. Do you want to give your opponent a minion? Are you going to draft a crappy minion just to give it to your opponent?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This makes a lot more sense in a class like Paladin or Shaman, that you're going to have a target for this.
Right. If you're planning on like board clearing anyway, I can see where this would be.
Yeah, that's
okay.
true. That's definitely true.
But it's like another Purify, just weird.
Yeah, I mean the 3 cards. I mean you probably do draft this. I'm not saying that you don't take it or whatever, because 3 mana for 3 cards is crazy. But it's just, where did this come from? Everything we've seen so far is kind of in line with the class that it comes from. Polymorph effects using. Yeah, we've already seen Hunter with cards that make, with the GVG card that allowed you to target minions with your hero power.
Yeah.
Warrior with cleaving weapons. Just where the hell did this come from?
Yeah, no.
I just don't know.
It doesn't look like anything we've ever seen from Priest.
So, anyway, I don't know. Anduin and I have had a pretty serious falling out. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if we can patch things up in the next expansion. But moving on, we have a 1 mana spell from Rogue called Smoke Bomb, which I really like this one. 1 mana, give a minion stealth, which is already really powerful, and then draw a card. So
that's great.
I mean, that's like Power Word Shield for Rogue. A really good effect on 1 mana, and it cycles itself. So
yeah.
I mean,
I think that's great. I mean, I think you can set up the lethal with that, like.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Conceal already was used for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is just good.
Yeah, if you're worried about that 7 power minion you've got on the board is going to get deathed by the priest, well, now you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think this next one is probably the most powerful one, at least in my opinion. It's called Crackling Doom. It's the Shaman card. 0 mana spell to deal 12 damage to all minions. It does overload you for 10, but 0 mana for 12 damage to all minions. Like, what the hell? Overload, of course, only takes place on the following turn. So you can just nuke the board, have 10 mana crystals that turn to play with, play whatever you want. You're overloaded the next turn, but you've completely stolen the board at that point. Because nothing's surviving 12 damage.
No.
I mean, maybe Divine Shield minions or something like that. But you get to nuke the board whenever you need to. Like, if lethal's ever presented to you, you just hold this card. If lethal's ever presented on board, you just get rid of it immediately. And that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, Overload 10's rough, and if you, like, obviously what you want is to make, like, a really huge tempo turn out of this. So, the more mana you have when you play it, the better. So you nuke the board, and then you play whatever you want, and then next turn you can't play anything, but you can still attack with all the things you just played. So, I mean, it's definitely situational, because you could really, I mean, if it's just using it in an emergency when you think you're going to die, and then next turn you can't really do anything.
Right, but think about how Arena works, though, and, like, maybe that board that was presenting lethal to you was pretty much like their last leg.
Yeah.
And they're like, I need to beat you with this board that I've created because this is what I have. This is what I've built towards up to this point in the game. And, like, you could be top decking, just random stuff that you had to draft because you didn't have great other options. So, like, once you've stuck, like, your Bog Champs and your, maybe you've got a good questing out or something now, like, that stuff all goes away. Like, there's every chance that even with the Shaman not able to play anything on the following turn, you just can never reestablish after that. That's what I think the real power of it is. Plus, Shaman's still going to have access to drafting cards like Lava Shock and Eternal Sentinel. So,
my God.
To unload the mana crystals. So
freeing those up. Well, no, there aren't any cards in Standard right now that can unlock your mana crystals, are there?
Is it not?
No,
I thought Lava Shock was still.
Lava Shock was Black Rock, and I think Eternal Sentinel was Black Rock too. Or Eternal Sentinel might be Old Gods. But so that might still be it.
Oh, Eternal Sentinel does seem like Old Gods themed. So, but I mean, that'll be rotating out as well. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's their intention for this to, exist in a time when Shamans can't unload their mana crystals. But at the same time, we know Snow Fury Giant is going to still be a thing, and it decreases its cost for every overloaded mana crystal. So, you could very well be doing this and then playing a free Giant as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's definitely synergy there. I just think the incredible damage on that AoE is, it's just insane. Yeah. Like, I can't wait to actually see this in action, because I feel like it's going to break Arena. But that's just me. So, moving on to the Druid spell, we have Nature's Champion. It's 3 mana, return a friendly minion to your hand and give it +5/+5. So, it's kind of this, like, it's like a pseudo-reverse hand buff mechanic, where you're, like, sacrificing a little bit of tempo for, like, value in the future. It's interesting. Like, I don't think it's great. It's definitely no, like, crackling doom. But there are definitely a ton of minions you want to bounce, right? Just to, like, get their battle cry again.
Sure. Yeah.
It's also a heal.
I mean, it is, yeah. Like, you can make a trade, the thing's still alive, bounce it back, it's huge, comes back out.
Yeah.
And then...
It's probably better the lower the cost of the minion you hit with it.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I think one of the best targets I can think of offhand is Firefly for this, because you get that second battle cry, get another flame elemental off of it, and Firefly is a 6/7 for 1 mana. So
yeah, absolutely. The lower the cost. Like, whenever I'm doing Build a Beast with Hunter, I always, if there's something super cheap, I just go for it. Yeah. Like a 0 mana, like a penguin, 0 mana 1/1, and that's just giving your next thing you pick +1/+1 for no extra mana. So
basically, yeah.
So yeah, the cheaper the better probably on this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, when this comes down, it'll be fun. That's like one of the more fun cards to me. Crackling Doom is just gonna make you pissed every time you see it. And then finally, the Warlock Arena only card is called Bottled Madness, and I really like this one. It's 0 mana to transform each card in your hand into a random demon. This just makes so much sense to me because this is something Warlock's done before, kind of, with Renounced Darkness. Like, you'll still see people that draft Renounce in their arenas just to, get that mad tempo off the discount. This is basically the same kind of thing. This kind of, like, in a way, like, can kind of correct all the bad cards you've had to draft in your arena run.
Yeah.
You just, like, had to take that Nightblade because, like, there was nothing else that was good. And you can just, like, have that in your hand, like, let's just make it a demon,
Yeah, and it's 0 mana, so you can just wait to do it when your hand is just full of stuff you don't really want, and then boom, you might get stuff you do want.
Yeah, and it's
Most
not about...
demons are pretty good, so...
Most demons are pretty good, and it's really not at all about, like, trying to get, like, demon synergies or anything going. It's really just about, like, a second chance at decent cards. Like, it's pretty much what it is, so...
No, yeah, it's not about the demons. Plus minions are kind of the bread and butter of Arena, so if you've got some weird situational spells in your hand, they're just going to become demons, and they'll probably be moderately useful, so...
Maybe you kept the coin, and you get an Abyssal Enforcer out of it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's the dream. But, so yeah, arena cards. That would be really cool to see in February. I mean, they announced that a while ago, so it's about time that we would be seeing it implemented.
And they exist, like, they are made. We see them.
There they were.
So, there they were. So, why not put them in,
Yeah. Definitely. So that would be awesome to see. But some other things that we might be in for is possibly a new Druid hero finally. Like, I would like to see that.
Is that purely speculative, or is there actually...
Totally speculation.
Oh, okay.
Totally speculation.
Is Druid the only one we don't have a second hero for now?
I'm fairly sure that it is.
I'm trying to think of all of them.
Well,
yeah. It was Druid and Warlock.
Warlock got Nemsy.
And Warlock got Nemsy.
Yeah, so it's just Druid now. I don't know. Yeah, like, whenever they are releasing new heroes, they seem to coincide with some kind of event nowadays. It's not usually a purchase thing like Medivh was.
Yeah, I feel like they phased that out.
Yeah, I think they still probably will do more just pay for heroes, but I think they're kind of favoring sort of like cross-promotion with their other games, or just like getting people to engage in new like things that they're implementing into Hearthstone. Like the new Fireside Gathering stuff is how you got Nemsy. Liadrin was a cross promotion with World of Warcraft. I'm assuming that we'll see that some sort of thing like that. So when they're rolling out new events, it always kind of pops into my head like maybe we'll get a new hero to go along with it. I would like to see, obviously, I'd like to see just a whole slew of new heroes added. It just, like,
I would love
shakes up the game to not, like, even though you're fighting the same class, just to see a different portrait there is cool to me.
Yeah, just more flavor.
Yeah. It's all about the flavors.
Like, when they come out with ones I really like, I do what I have to do to get them. Like, as soon as Liadrin got announced, I was like, all right, guess I'm going to play WoW up to level 20 real quick. And then I did that in 5 minutes, and then then I got Liadrin. So, but yeah, like I don't know if like if the warrior, the pay hero was Overlord Sourfang instead of fucking dwarf guy, I'd totally buy him. Yeah,
I bought Medivh. I mean,
Medivh's cool.
I love Medivh, so I was like, whatever, you can have $10, I guess.
Yeah, it probably is worth more to them to cross promote than it is to get a quick buck off of people.
Yeah, and it also just reflects better, right? They get slammed a lot for like you're being greedy and this and that. So it would be best for them if they try to avoid charging $10 for an essential, just a purely vanity item.
Because like if you could get Magni or Medivh or Khadgar or like any of the pay or Illyria. If you could get the pay ones through cross promotion, I would just do it. But I'm not going to pay $10 for a thing I don't really want. So they're getting nothing from a bunch of people versus getting some cross promotion from a lot more people. So I think that they've maybe realized that's the smarter way to approach it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I would really like to see that, just going back to maybe we're getting a new druid hero sometime soon. I'd really like to see it be a troll, because we don't have any trolls in this game.
Yeah.
Like, there aren't even really that many troll cards. Like, there's some serious, like, this needs to be addressed. This is 2018. We need to be inclusive.
We need representation of minorities.
Yes. So, I saw a little article on Hearthpwn where they were throwing out ideas. Most of them were Tauren or whatever, but I saw one of them was a troll. It was, I think, Zentabra is her name. And, I mean, that would be awesome. I would love to see a troll, because
trolls are awesome.
The troll, and like, it would add a lot of flair to the druid class, because all of trolls' transformations are different from night elf and druids. Like, a lot more different. Like their travel form is a raptor, you know, and like everything's just like so much cooler because they're horde. So
slip that in there.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I was gonna say, I don't really know like who they would even who the another druid would be, but because Malfurion's kind of the G, you know.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the G.
But a troll would be that gets my vote for sure. A troll would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, basically the other option, other than it being another night elf, which would be stupid, would be for it to be a Tauren. Which, I mean, that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I almost feel like it's more likely for it to be a Tauren, because like, how could there be two druids and neither of them are a Tauren? Like, Tauren's the classic druid class, so
yeah, Tauren and Night Elf were the only druid classes at first. So I think, what is it, like, there's some Great Mother in the Tauren place, Great Mother something, I can't remember her name, but some, you know, whatever. I'm sure there are plenty of Tauren druids they could pull from.
Yeah. So. And, I mean, you know, the Tauren are Horde, too, so, I mean, like, they're, like, admittedly, like, the least cool of the Horde.
They are definitely my least favorite Horde race.
Yeah, me too.
I would say Pandaren are my least favorite Horde race, but they're Alliance to me, so...
They're just, like, always Alliance.
I see one, and I'm like, well, you could have been on the Alliance, so you're Alliance.
That is so funny.
So fuck off.
Oh, my God. But that's about it as far as news, new stuff that we could be seeing. We're all just kind of like waiting for more details on the February patch, and then of course, like, we're never that far away from an expansion. Like, it's not gonna be too long before we're actually busting up into card packs.
Every 4 months?
Yeah. So
yeah, time to start saving gold. Start now.
I'm in a perpetual state of saving gold. Like, I always see streamers, like, you know, crafting golden cards and stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm the one that's over here disenchanting gold cards.
Yeah.
But I guess we should talk a little bit about the meta. I mean, it's not changed, like, a ton or whatever. It's pretty much... It's consistent in that it's cycling between the same decks. It's just kind of like what people decide to queue in with kind of changes what other people decide to queue in with to counter that, and then, you know, it's just kind of this wheel that we get every meta.
It's kind of a little king of the hill thing going on, struggling for supremacy.
Yeah, so basically, if you're laddering, especially, you know, once you get past rank 10, you're gonna be facing probably one of the following: aggro and or Murloc Paladin, Tempo Rogue. It's kind of the only game really in town for Rogue. You see Miracle every once in a while, but Tempo seems to perform a lot better. Control and Zoo Warlock. I see a lot more Control, personally, with the Void Lords and the... I guess Control kind of could blanket include the Q block, which is, like, my least favorite deck.
You know why? Because it's a combo deck, and we both hate those.
Yeah, we really do. Like, I don't know, it just... I can get behind a combo deck if it, like, makes sense, and I don't feel like I'm getting cheesed. But they always just feel like you're getting really cheesed.
Because it's just, it all happens in one turn, and you can't do a thing about it.
Yeah, and that's just like, unhealthy for Hearthstone.
Guess I'll just die.
Yeah, you just, like, sit there. It's like watching a movie of your death. Like, who wants to do that?
You're just like, oh boy. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
Oh, I'm dead. Oh shit.
So
there I go.
I definitely prefer playing Zoo Warlock, and I just run, like, I make a deck now, and if it's any sort of tempo deck whatsoever, I just throw 2 copies of Spellbreaker in there just for Warlock.
Yeah.
And their cubes and their Void Lords.
You have to.
Yeah. But the most frustrating class, still, and has been for a while, is still Priests, which is why Anduin and I are no longer on speaking terms.
You should be Tyrande.
She
has great side boob.
I ain't talking to her either. Both of them.
Every time I queue up, I'm like,
You know what? Those two, they deserve each other right now. They can go fuck off wherever they want.
She is an alliance scumbag.
Yeah, she is.
There should have been a troll priest.
Oh my god! Yeah, I know.
An undead priest. An undead. We don't have an undead hero.
Yeah.
We have like 9 orcs and 12 blood elves, and actually, there's like no blood elves.
Well, there's Liadrin.
Yeah. There's like so many orcs. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah, like, Hearthstone is racist, basically.
It's fucking racist.
But priests, you queue into a priest, you could be facing Highlander, you could be facing Big Priest, which literally makes me vomit furiously. I hate Big Priest.
You know why?
Because it's a combo deck?
Because it's a combo deck, yeah.
Kind of, in a way. It's like, it's not as combo-y even, though, that's the thing. So they have time to set up. You know, they don't have to try to do it all in one turn and, like, make snap decisions and stuff like Mally Druid used to have to do or something like that. It's just like, I'll just sit here with my Shadow Visions and discover another copy of Eternal Servitude, and then somehow I'll have Barnes on, on curve and hit the statue, and then you'll just lose.
Barnes is something that, like, he's not, like, cancerous, but, like, when he gets abused, it's very upsetting, and I'm pretty excited for Barnes to be gone.
Yeah, I think that'll pretty much almost single-handedly dismantle Big Priest.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And it could also be some combination of the Spiteful Summoner Priest plus Dragons. I see those in the same deck a lot. It might just be a Dragon Priest, but it's pretty easy to just put in the Spiteful package.
Right.
Which I gotta just say, this was the card that I called from this expansion.
Yeah.
I said some cards that are seeing a lot of play wouldn't, like, I think one of the main ones is the Lackey, or whatever, the Recruited Demon.
Yeah.
The Possessed Lackey. But I saw that Spiteful Summoner, I was like, this is gonna break some games, and it really does. It's so easy to just make a Dragon Priest shell, throw in 2 Spiteful Summoners and 2 Mind Controls, and you've just got this insane tempo swing on 6.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, you usually get a dragon from it too, right? Because you got Deathwing Dragon Lord on 10. So
one thing I've noticed about a class being powerful is when it has a lot of options.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Yeah, obviously you're going to play a certain way if you think you're playing a certain archetype, but Highlander, Big Priest, and Dragon Priest are all doing different things to you. Mm-hmm. So you don't know how to set up, your early game. You don't know what to do during your early turns.
Yeah, your mulligan is very dependent on the deck list you're playing against, and it's hard to know when you, especially when you queue up against Priests, because they have the most deck lists right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You queue up against Rogue, and you're like, I got to keep all my early removal, because you know that's what they're doing.
Like before the Innervate nerf, it was Druid. There were so many Druids.
Mm-hmm.
It shifts. There was a time when there were so many shamans. It could be aggro, it could be Jade, it could be control. There's just, whenever a class has like 3 or more options for what it's going to do, that class is just a huge advantage.
Right, and I mean, not to mention, it just means the fact that you can't have that many archetypes from a class. The cards that they're playing are really good, and the cards that they have access to are really good. So
yes,
it just kind of snowballs into like more and more of a problem. So yeah, Priest is still sitting pretty. I mean, not every site has Highlander Priest listed as like number 1, but Tempo Storm does, and I mean, all of these are at least tier 1 or 2, no matter where you look, and can definitely win you games.
Yeah.
Jade, an aggro token druid, is going around. I don't see Jade as often. I don't see druids as much, really anymore at all. But usually when I see it, it's aggro these days. Jade druid's fallen off a little bit.
It's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, Jade is really well positioned against Highlander priests, but there's a lot of other stuff that you gotta watch out for, and it's not as good against the tempo decks. So there is a Face Hunter deck going around. The Spell Hunter kind of fell off with all the To My Side and the kind of cheesy fun deck where you try to make a deck with no minions.
Yeah, it's a shame because that idea seemed pretty fun to me. And I believe I own Kathrina Winter Wisp, so it'd be nice to use her. Her and King Crush being the only minions in the deck.
Oh yeah,
Well,
her
King Crush and like some Savannah Highmane or something.
Well, then you couldn't use like the legendary weapon or To My Side or anything because you'd have minions.
Does legendary weapon have to have no minions?
Yeah, no minions have to be in your deck when you play it. Yeah. So Kathrina.
You just drop your Kathrina first, and then you get a free King Crush. And then, yeah. But
definitely, that's how it's gonna go.
I have tried the Face Hunter that's currently going around, and I like what's happened to Face decks and to Hearthstone in general, to where aggro now is forced to maintain some semblance of board control. Versus back, the original Face Hunter was all about these tiny little sources of damage just coming out of nowhere. You didn't have to have a board. You would your Leper Gnomes would deal 2, and your Hero Power whenever you could, and Skill Command dealt 5, and the weapon, you didn't even need a secret on to benefit from it, and if you did have one, it was Explosive Trap, and that dealt 2 damage, and then the weapon was 6 damage, and it just all these little sources of damage come, and you didn't need a board. Like, it didn't even matter.
Yeah,
what you had out, but now aggro decks and Face Hunter included are forced to have to fight for board. You're not gonna win if you don't have a board.
Yeah,
of some kind.
Yeah, it's it's still in a very low mana like aggressive way, but you have to stick something that can deal at least 2 or 3 decent hits of repeat damage.
Exactly.
Hitting a bear shark with a crackling razor maw and getting a few decent hits with Wind Fury or something.
Yeah, I'm not saying you need 7 minions out, but you do. Yeah, your damage is going to have to come from some minions repeatedly sticking and then hitting face a couple times.
Yes, so. Yeah, sticking is they didn't used to have to do that because they just throw out the Leper Gnome and by the way, these are all the cards that used to make up that Face Hunter deck, or were the cards that got nerfed.
Yep.
So,
Leper Gnome, Abusive Sergeant. Dude, Abusive Sergeant used to be.
Yeah.
He was god tier.
Yeah, he used to be really good. He added 2 damage to the board immediately, and he was a 2/1, so he's good for trading. I mean, 1 mana 2/1s are really good for trading up and stuff. So, yeah, that deck was fun, but it was probably overall not a healthy deck because you would play against it and feel like you were in a good position the whole time because the Hunter's board is constantly clear or easily clearable, and you just look at your health and you're like, shit, I'm at 10. How did this happen?
Yeah. and then you get to a point where I said this. I made a video about the top 5 Hearthstone decks I hated or whatever.
Yeah.
And Face Hunter was in there, and this is before the nerfs and stuff. But you get into a position where you're like, all right, motherfucker. I got 6 minions out. I'm gonna kill you next turn. You're gonna die. And then you hear the impending roar of doom, and 6 dogs come out, and then they do Animal Companion, and Leok comes out, and then you're dead.
Yeah. Or they just
fuck you.
Well, or remember when they could literally just shoot you in the face when they had Quick Shot, which was such an incredible card.
Oh, Quick Shot.
The Face Hunter would just empty their hand on you and then Quick Shot you in the face for 3, draw a card.
We're sitting here reminiscing as if these were good memories.
Well, hey, I actually used to play some Face Hunters, so those were good memories. But
oh, me too.
Yeah. And finally, the last deck that you're likely to see laddering is Tempo Secret Mage. So we all know this one with the lackeys and the Kirin Tor mages and basically
Cabal,
the whole
Courier.
deck. Yeah, Cabal Courier. Well, no, I don't know about Courier. It's not. That's not Tempo enough.
Courier. I'm late. I'm late. What is she?
Crystal Runner. Crystal
Runner. Runner, courier, you know.
Yeah, but basically that whole deck's made possible by Arcanologist and Explosive Runes, or whatever, the new secret, which actually gives Mage a reason to want to like tempo out secrets early.
Yep.
But even that's fallen off a lot.
one.
What's that?
We called that one.
Definitely. That's a great secret, but even Tempo Secret Mage has really fallen off because it's really like kind of the trend right now is individual cards that are packed with value and tempo simultaneously. So like you'll see at least one or two of these types of cards in every one of these decks. Aggro and Murloc Paladin are using Call to Arms. Tempo Rogue is still using Keliseth for that purpose. Mm-hmm. Control Warlock is just full of those cards. The Lackey, the Void Lord, the Cube, and stuff like that. Zoo Warlock, even some of them still use Blood Reaver Gul'dan as the top end, just to be able to overextend, resurrect everything back up. Priest, Spiteful Priest is one of the best examples of this. You get to include a card like Mind Control in your deck, which is great value later on. And then you get like a huge tempo swing with Spiteful Summoner on 6 into Mind Control. Yep. That's a 4/4 and a 10 drop on your turn 6, which is just crazy. So Mage, like that Mage deck, really the only card that you could say that it has in it that's like that much value packed into one thing is Alaneth. But that's one card in the whole deck. And they're trying to piece together this damage with all these like little sources, which, like you were just saying, is not as viable as it used to be.
Yeah, that's not. So. Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I've tried to make like a red deck.
Yeah,
like a red deck wins Mage deck, where it's just full of burn, and I'm like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to just blast my opponent down in like 5 turns with all this fantastic burn that Mage has. Yeah. And it just does not work.
Yep. It's because you end up having to send it all to board. Like, you have to shoot it all at the board. Or you have to just hope that you manage to piece the damage together if you're just pointing everything at face. Which is usually what happens. And sometimes they manage to put it together, and sometimes they don't. It just is entirely dependent on what they draw.
Yeah.
So, but after that, Shaman... there's some evolved shamans going around still or whatever. I don't see them very often, but for the most part, shaman and warrior are pretty sad right now.
Yeah, not seeing a lot of them.
Yeah, warrior, basically, I don't remember the last time I queued into a warrior. So yeah. I mean, pirates were good, but there are just things that are better. Yeah, there are just things that are better now.
That's all there is to it.
They can't really the old pirate deck doesn't really benefit from any of the stuff that's really powerful now.
There's nothing from Kobolds that goes in there. Yeah. So
yeah, like they don't have a great 8+ drop spell that they could run to get value off of Spiteful Summoner, for example.
Right.
And they didn't get anything insane for like an aggressive tempo style like Call to Arms, like Paladin did.
Right.
That's exactly why you see that they've fallen off. Like, what does Pirate Warrior have against a card like Call to Arms? Nothing.
No.
Nothing. You just cannot recover from something like that.
You're gonna get outpaced so fast.
Yeah. So Warriors hurting right now, but one class always has to be that class, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's Warrior now, so they've been on top plenty of times before.
Yeah. Everybody gets their turn.
But that's basically the meta. I mean, I think we're pretty much just going to see this continue. Maybe we'll see like a new kind of deck list or whatever emerge, but I'd be surprised if it was entirely that different from any of the ones that we've seen. It's just kind of like a slightly different construction or whatever
at this
of an
point,
already established deck.
Have kind of settled,
Which, to me, it feels right because we're on the cusp of such a huge change, right?
Huge change.
When the new
shift.
expansion comes out and 2016 falls off entirely, or sorry, 2017, right?
No, 2016.
Yeah, I was right the first time. And all of those are gone, and this will actually be not the smallest card pool that we've seen yet, but the first card pool that doesn't include an adventure.
That's right.
So, it'll be slightly bigger than the first time a year fell off, and the first time standard was a thing, but we still had Karazhan in the mix, so the card pool was actually smaller than it will be now, because Karazhan's falling off, and we'll have 4 expansions.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
So everything's going to change. I mean, because we're losing Razakis, we're losing Jades entirely. No more Jade nonsense, which I'm so ready for that. It feels like it's just been so long.
It really, I'm kind of tired of it, to be honest.
Yeah, if I never have to hear the sound that summoning a Jade makes again, I'll be a happy man. Yes. Yeah. So we have all that to look forward to in a few months. Yeah, but we're pretty much stuck with what we got for now, unless the February patch comes out and something crazy gets changed. But I kind of doubt it. I feel like it's healthy enough. I mean, most of the classes are represented. Most of them have more than one archetype that they can resort to. Some of them are a little oppressive. I mean, I'm sick of fighting against priests, but what are you gonna do?
Well, we can talk about what we'd like to see get nerfed when we get to our salty cards segment.
We sure can. But I guess tacked on here at the end of news, we'll tackle some Q&A though, because we still have not created a little intro
slide
for that.
If any of you in chat right now have any questions, any real, actual, serious questions, go ahead and throw them at us. But for now, we'll answer the few that we got on Twitter. Normally, we'll try to tweet this out a couple days before the show so we can get some responses. We did it literally an hour before the show this time. But Aorikos, who is with us today, yes, he is. If you could choose any expansion idea, what will it be? Do you want to take this one first?
Let's see, because it becomes a hard question for me now, because my answer would have been Frozen Throne. Like, that would always have been what I would say.
My answer's always been the same.
I know what yours is. I mean, you can go ahead and take this, since, I mean, you're ready to go.
Mine's Outland. Outland, Burning Crusade, or even if they want to do Legion themed, I want it to be Outland themed, because Outland was the most hashtag aesthetic shit in that game. Like, oh god, I loved all the floating crystals and the green fire and Fel Reaver stomping around and the Fel Orcs and the big sandworms plunging out of the earth and Blade's Edge Mountains with impaled dragons on the mountains because Gruul threw them out of his cave. I don't know, Outland was so cool, and I would love to see a heavily Outland. I mean, we have a few things right now, but I would love to see a heavily Outland-inspired expansion come out. That would just be,
yeah.
That would be my bread and butter.
Something that comes to mind, I can't really nail it down to a specific WoW expansion or anything, but I'd like to see something along the lines of Blackrock come out again. And basically, I mean Dragon Synergy, reintroduced. Basically, right now, Dragon Synergy is just a priest thing, which is such a weird decision in the first place that dragons have become associated with priests. But I just thought that there was so much potential in Blackrock, that it never fully achieved, because it never got additional support that it needed, because they just dropped the whole dragon thing, other than just printing OP dragon priest cards. One of the things that I look back on and just really wish became a thing one time was Dragon Paladin, because Netherbane, whatever, the chick that's
Nightbane Templar?
Nightbane Templar, yeah. Nightbane Templar, who was almost like a muster for battle, is 3 mana for a 2/3 that summoned 2 whelps. I tried so many different deck constructions to
same.
Yeah, do Dragon Paladin. I'd just really like to see dragons come back. I mean, we've already got, 2 different versions of Deathwing, so I wouldn't say Cataclysm would be the right
That's
name
what
for
I was
it.
Gonna say was Cataclysm was very dragon themed. You got to meet all the aspects, and Alexstrasza was a huge part of that. But yeah, Hearthstone does things all the time that aren't necessarily themed around one expansion. So they could make one called the aspects of something, and it'd just be all about the dragons. And,
That's it.
Yeah.
The aspects of something. Print it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
print it. It's good.
Yeah, dragons basically. I want to see dragon synergy come back.
Yeah,
I like
get
I
down.
like dragons version of tempo, and like I like holding a dragon activates other dragons. Like I like the whole thing. I like it a
Yeah.
lot more than like elementals, for example. So I'd like to see that come back.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
All right, I'll read the next one out here. We got from Dougie. We got, what were your favorite and least favorite metas and why? I feel like we're gonna have like pretty much the same answer for this.
I feel like we are. So least favorite was when Shaman was just butt fucking everyone relentlessly.
Yeah, we are probably like partial to that because that was the first time like we were both really getting into Hearthstone and we were like getting competitive for the first time. We were like, dang, I actually like made it to rank 10, and like we were kind of like, I'm getting good at this, and then all of a sudden, it was just Shaman everywhere. Back when they had
Tunnel Trog,
literally the strongest
Totem
opener
Golem
that the game has ever seen, which is Tunnel Trog and a Totem Golem. Yeah, it was terrible. And Spirit Claws was 1 mana, and it was just. It was incredibly oppressive. I've never queued into so many matches that were the same class in a row as back then. It was just shaman.
Favorite was, I think we're going to have the same answer for this too, was when you had your Secret Hunter deck.
Yes.
And I had my... Was it Paladin? Yeah. It was right when Old Gods came out. It was Old Gods aggro Paladin for me, and you came out with that Secret Hunter deck like before it became a meta deck.
Yeah.
And I don't think aggro Paladin even was a meta deck, and we both got to like rank 5 or something that season.
You know what? I think this still in a funny twisted way relates back to the same thing, which is that was the meta that broke Shaman.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that we were like able to play the game like and breathe free of Shaman.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why we also have such great memories of that time.
Probably.
But we both just like we both get really excited whenever we actually manage to make progress on ladder with a deck that we just created, just sat down and looked at the cards that were available and just put it together. We're both I probably carried over from Magic, just deck builders at heart, and that was a time when we both really had a lot of fun with that. So that was actually still to this day the closest I ever got to Legend, which I made it all the way to rank 1, but just did not have the time to finish that push. I was so mad.
So you'd say that was your favorite meta?
Yeah. That was definitely a lot of fun. And that was pre Call of the Wild nerf, which I'm still not entirely sure was called for.
Yeah, you could be right.
Like I like that card doesn't see play at all anymore. I mean, that 1 mana made such a huge difference, and it's kind of sad because I like the concept of the card. So
right. Next question is from our buddy Flinch. He said, "Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?"
Oh, that's clearly directed at you.
It's because I like to cover myself in peanut butter and roll in birdseed, and then I go hang out with people, and then there's just lots of birds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's why. So our next question, Badcam2 has a question from the chat. What's a good way for Hearthstone to create a red mage?
Oh, kind of like what you were just talking about.
Either that or a Final Fantasy red mage. I'm not sure which one they are referring to, but if we're talking Magic, I think what's cool about Hearthstone is if you look at it in terms of Magic the Gathering, every class probably represents more than one color of Magic. Every class feels like a combination of multiple colors.
Yeah.
And I think making a class just purely like a red mage would probably be a bad thing for Hearthstone. It'd be too mono. You know what I mean? Like if one expansion that came out, they were like, mages are just gonna get all this fire and fury and charge, and then that's gonna be the only mage deck in town, and that's gonna be annoying and stupid. So I don't know. I mean, that deck could. I don't know. I don't know why they would.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, basically, you'd be seeing cards that you don't see a lot of. Like, you'd be seeing some of, like, Warlock splashed into Mage, right? Like, cards that are really good tempo for dealing damage to yourself. That was a big portion of, like, red Magic. And cards that are really efficient damage, but are only intended to hit once. So, talking, like, low health charge minions. So, you'd be seeing cards like, you know, I mean, not necessarily, like, 3-mana 3/1s, because those are terrible, but you need, like, you know, these decent charge. Like, basically, it would be too much of unreactionary stuff. Like, basically, you'd be playing your own game, which is deplete your opponent's health to 0, and ignore everything else that they do.
Right.
And I think that's the problem.
And that's the difference between Hearthstone and Magic. Is in Magic, you have, even if it's your opponent's turn, you can respond to what they're doing. So the red mage doesn't just get to blow your face off in one turn. You actually have something you can do about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
The non-responsiveness of this game, basically the fact that you are taking a back seat in the game while it's your opponent's turn, is the reason why we need red mage not to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
much as it pains me to say it,
yeah.
But I appreciate the balance more than anything.
Yeah, because we just want the game to be fun, and that's not fun. So,
what is a mechanic you want to see return?
Inspire. I'm taking this one.
Yeah, I like that answer. I think Inspire coming back as an actual good mechanic would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I always say this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Like, the general, like, you know, wisdom on the subject is that Inspire was a bad mechanic, but it's not. It's actually a really cool mechanic. I think the hero power is one of the most unique things about Hearthstone. I really like it. I like having the consistency of, at least, you know, out of everything that you can't control in the game, you know you're going to be able to do that one thing. I like that a lot, and I like cards that synergize with trying to leave open enough mana to weave those in. And that's kind of really been lost. I feel like hero powers have really taken a back seat. Like, I think, honestly, the hero power I see getting used the most is priests, oddly enough, because priests, you know, with Highlander and stuff, they just want to keep drawing off of their Northshire clerics and stuff.
Right.
But you don't see Hunter. Like, Hunter's just trying to hit curve with minion. They want a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, a 4-drop, 5-drop, 6-drop, and keep going.
Yes.
And, like, the hero power becomes this, like, secondary feature. I'd rather see minions that are just better designed than the ones we got in the Grand Tournament. That actually...
that don't force you to play it 2 turns after you would normally, just so you can Inspire the same turn and be guaranteed to get the Inspire. The minions were not well designed enough to make Inspire worth it.
Exactly.
So that's how you fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, and in interactions with the hero power are... like, kind of skillful. Like, I still see all the time, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Murloc Paladins throw out Vilefin Inquisitors and summon a Murloc and end up passing that turn with 2 extra mana, which means they missed an opportunity to summon a Silver Hand before they summoned their Murloc with the Vilefin. Just like that reactivation of hero powers, getting double Inspires, cards like Nexus Champion, Sarad, and stuff like that. Like, those were really fun and interactive turns to participate in, and I'd like to see that happen again.
I definitely don't disagree, and I'm having trouble thinking of old mechanics that are kind of gone, but I don't. Can Lotheb be a mechanic? Because I want him back. But yeah, I agree.
Well, you could just say like I don't know, maybe it's not an old mechanic, but you could say more like static effects or whatever. Like, like I think this game could benefit from enchantments.
Yeah. Like world enchantment, like
what you would call from Magic a global enchantment, which means you would pay mana to do it, and it affects the game from that point forward. Yeah. The closest thing that we have to something like that is like Lakari Sacrifice.
Yeah, some of the quests.
The quests and stuff that permanently change what's on the board and stuff like that. Like, I'd love to see specialization cards be a thing. where just by including them in your deck, some aspect of your, what you do is buffed. Like specialization for priest is shadow, and
Right.
everything that deals damage is better or whatever. So
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe we can see if there's any other good burning questions. Someone asked if we would consider playing any other card games besides Hearthstone, and if we have, and clearly we have played Magic. So
yeah, but Magic is one thing that Magic has never been able to do is actually join us in the digital age. It's always just horribly designed. Like whenever they make a Magic game,
yeah,
for PC, I tried to play that new one that they made or whatever, and the game, honestly, it's just too. It happens in too many chopped up phases to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Magic's out as far as like streaming or anything, but there are other ones that I've been interested in. I've never messed around with Gwent. I've heard that that's fun, but I have played some mobile Eternal, and I did like the couple games that I played on Eternal, so I'd be open to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, DJ says Card Fight Vanguard is the most balanced printed card game in existence.
Card Fight Vanguard. I've never heard of that. Is that? I mean, I like honestly, I'm wondering if that's sarcasm or if it's. Or if he
I
means
don't know.
Because it sounds inherently like an imbalanced game.
Yeah. Card Fight Vanguard.
Anyway, so yeah, send us more of them questions if you ever think of them for our future shows. We are going to be adding this as a permanent segment. But for now, we're skipping over our homebrew section. We don't really have any decks. We may actually be phasing that out moving forward because kind of the crowd least favorite. But we are going to keep our salty card, which is what we're going to do next. So I think we're going to be griping about pretty much the same thing. So let's check out our salty cards.
Basically.
You gotta be kidding me! Necessary? What? Really?
All right, so up first we have a card that we've already spent a lot of time talking about tonight.
Is it mine?
It's
Void
yours.
Lord?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, when you're running aggro paladin, like I tend to do frequently, and this comes down, and you're like, fuck. Like, okay, maybe you can do the 9, 10, 12, 18 damage. Maybe you can throw 18 damage at minions and still win the game. Maybe. But when it gets cubed,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes like 36 damage you have to fucking deal with. It's just it's so much of a wall. When this came out, people were like, "This isn't good," and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I said it wasn't good.
A wall. A lot of people said it wasn't.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean, I just thought it would come down too late, but then the lackey cheats it out and fucking. Yeah.
This is a wall to end all walls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just. So this is why you have to run 2 Spellbreakers in any aggressive deck now. So just to get through Void Lord, I don't know. It's pissed me off more than anything in recent weeks. So
no,
that's my salty card.
It is definitely a drag. I mean, especially when you do rely on dealing face damage with minions on board. If you don't have a silence or a transform or whatever, then I mean, you could pretty much just lose the game. Like, this thing 1v1s you.
Maybe I don't know how much what Paladin has access to that can deal damage directly to face. I don't think they have anything that's very efficient.
No, not at all. Paladin's, I think, one of the worst classes for face damage, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I mean, reach, like spell reach
yeah.
damage. Yeah.
Hammers, I mean, you get a card off of it.
You've got the, it's always like overpay because you draw a card. There's the Holy Wrath or whatever it is where you draw a card and deal damage equal to.
But in aggro, that's fucking garbage. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's just, Yeah.
Without
Without silence, the best you can hope for is like Sunkeeper Tarum and
I honestly still feel like this card is balanced, or possibly even on like just the okay side in a meta, like, or in an environment where it can't be cheated out as easily as it can. And
yeah,
I think that's the main reason that it's so overpowered, that it's so abusable.
Sure. Yeah, cheating it out and then cubing it. I mean, there's so much fucked up stuff that can happen with this card. So.
Individually, this card is still like meh, in my opinion. But it's all the cards that are surrounding it that enable the deck, that enable the abuse of this card, that makes it a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a perfect segue into my salty card, which is also Warlock. It's Dark Pact. Which is the 1 mana spell, destroy a friendly minion and restore 8 health to your hero. So, I mean, this might seem at first like one of the more inconsequential cards in that deck, but it's actually like close to the backbone of it, because that deck's still pretty weak to decks like aggro and Murloc Paladins and stuff that can mount a lot of damage early game, especially if they're missing on their early removal, like Defiles and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could end up in a position like turn 4 where you have dealt a shitload of damage to the Warlock, and you feel really good about your ability to like burst them down before they can set up any of this shenanigans with cubing Void Lords or Doom Guards or anything like that. But they throw out the lackey, and you might even have your silence. You know, you're like, I packed silence for this deck, and I'm ready to go. And they just Dark Pact that shit and get it, and like 8 health for 1 mana. They're triggering death rattles. They're cheating out their early minions. Like, this is the card that makes that deck tick. It like makes up that early damage that you lost from not having like good board presence early. Every time I see a lackey come down, like, I'm packing the fix for that, and I still can't even use it because they've got this cheap-ass card to just trigger that early. And I hate it. Yeah, dude.
It's like, in and of itself, I mean, look at that next to the Druid 2 mana gain 8 health, you know? Like,
oh, yeah.
That sucks.
That's terrible.
And this is, you have to kill one of your own minions. But in this case, because of the fucking cubes... this is broken beyond all reason. So
just if you're playing an aggressive deck, you know, like, you can blame it on the Void Lords or the cubes or whatever, but like really just pay attention to like how they lived to set all that bullshit up on you, and it's almost always gonna like in some way relate to Dark Pact. Like, why couldn't the mage finish you off with the burn that they got off of Arcane Intellect? Because Dark Pact, you know. Why couldn't you? Why did you stop managing to get face damage through on turn 5? Because Dark Pact. Yep. Dark Pact on the lackey pulled out Void Lord. Like, this card.
Is this a Kobolds card?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like they have like the mushroom thing going on, you know, like the Fungalmancer thing.
It didn't need to be. Like, this could have been a classic Warlock card that just sat around forever, and then now it finally...
It just like came out.
Surfaced as... Yeah.
I really don't... I feel like the deck would be so much weaker without this card. And it's just crazy, because like these little cards like this just end up being the enablers.
Mad combo potential.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what's making us mad, is basically combo Warlocks, or controller combo Warlocks. It's pretty frustrating to play against.
Yeah, Warlock's really, really getting to me right now.
Yeah, but so is Priest, but, you know, we're hating on Warlock today. But that's pretty much it for the show, except for, of course, our card challenge segment, which... I'll just explain a little bit about that. If there's anybody new joining us, every week we offer up a new challenge for people who want to participate to create their own Hearthstone card. It's real easy to do. We just use hearthcards.net. You go there, just follow the prompt that we give you for that week. I believe you gave us last week's, if you want to refresh us on what it was.
Yes, it was because you had just gotten your blood drawn.
Yes, and she was a really bad artist.
Yeah,
that was the joke.
That's the joke. Yeah, she couldn't draw your blood very well, and I was like, make a card about blood. So very vague, lots very open ended, lots of options there. So
yeah, sometimes it'll be like that. just kind of funny or vague, open-ended, or sometimes we might make it a little bit more difficult and have some more specifications and stuff. But let's go ahead and check out what we got this week in our card challenge segment.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate test.
All right, up first, we have a new submitter here named Fallerdoff. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But for his blood-themed card, he gave us a vampire-themed hero card, which is very appropriate. So we got Strahd von Zarovich, which I don't know who this guy is, but he sounds cool. I'm digging his aesthetic.
From D&D.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. So he's an 8 mana. He gives 5 armor, which is in line with hero cards. He gives... I guess you have lifesteal. I think that's more relates to the hero power. And I guess it's a battle cry. I should say battle cry, reduce all minions to half of their current health. So it's kind of like I picture sort of a equality effect, only it's gonna have their health instead, and I'm assuming rounded down. If it's like a 5 or something, they'll go down to a 2 or something. And then your hero power, it becomes similar to Frostlich Jaina's. It's called Blood Curse, and you deal 1 damage for 2 mana, and if it kills a minion, summon a vampire to your side with that minion's stats. So I'm assuming literally just the stats of that base minion, vanilla as a vampire.
Whatever you killed. Yeah.
And but also that the hero power has lifesteal, so you're dealing 1 damage and gaining 1 life.
Yeah. So it's it could be better than the Jaina hero power, or it could be worse, but it's still very good.
Yeah, in ways, this is very comparable to Jaina in many ways, and in ways it's worse, and in ways it's better. It's 8 mana, so you can combo it with the hero power in the same turn, but it doesn't summon anything on the board immediately for you, and the minions you summon don't have lifesteal, so there's definitely some trade-off there.
I think it's pretty balanced, though.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I mean, hey, I love vampires, so this is the way to my heart.
There you go.
All right, thanks for your submission, Fallerdoff. Up next, we have from Overlord CHS, Blood Cleaver, which it's so hard to tell what class a weapon's for, but I think this is neutral, because it's just kind of like the box is highlighted, the color of the class, and I don't see...
I think the class wasn't selected, but...
Yeah.
I feel like it's warrior.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and say this is warrior. So 5 mana, 5/3 weapon. So it's just already straight up better than Arcanite Reaper, but it is legendary, so we'll let it slide. Whenever you kill a minion with this weapon, add a blood coin to your hand. So kind of turning, like Arcanite Reaper, you usually pack in that to go face, so it's kind of turning it around and trying to encourage you to kill minions with this. And what is a blood coin? It is a 0 mana. Deal 1 damage to yourself, gain 1 mana for this turn. So it's like the coin, only it hurts you for 1 as well. I really like this. It's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I think it's super clever. I mean, of course, you could very well just put this in your deck to go face.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's just better than Arcanite Reaper. But if you do go the killing minions route, you are going to take some damage because you're hitting minions face first, and then you're getting these coins that deal damage to you when you use them. So that's a bit of a trade-off if you're trying to abuse the extra mana. You're going to be taking some extra damage, but it may be just too overpowered because you would just put it in an aggro deck.
Yeah.
And fuck the mechanic. It's just better Arcanite Reaper.
Yeah, I agree. I actually feel like the mechanic would end up being ignored most of the time, even though it is really strong. But hey, that just adds to its strength. If you ever have to attack into a taunt minion or something, you just get a little. You could just look at it as as a nice side effect.
Just a bonus. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, but that would be a very bloody weapon though. I like the picture there. It's like some big fangs coming out of his skull.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
Yeah. All right, so taking a little bit of a different approach here from Rent's End, we have a mage spell called Blood Freeze, which is 5 mana to destroy all frozen minions. I like this because it just makes a lot of sense to me in a classic freeze mage deck. Obviously, you're running Frost Nova, and like the classic combo is Frost Nova plus Doomsayer, but that's not 100%, right? So even though this is 3 more mana than Doomsayer, this is 100% guaranteed turning your Frost Nova into an 8 mana combo board wipe.
Yep.
So basically,
which is the same as Twisting Nether. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Blood Freeze can also come down a little earlier if you need it to.
Sure.
So
yeah, I mean, it's there are other options, like, you can hit something with a water elemental, or you can frostbolt something, or there are other ways to freeze things. So it has like utility in that sense, and it's, I don't know, at first it seemed OP to me, but the fact that you could just have this in your hand and not anything that activates it, I think that kind of balances it. It's dependent on having other stuff, so
yeah. Like, I could see it in, like, some kind of crazy deck, like, some kind of crazy mage deck that's using freezing potions. The 0 mana literally just freeze a minion. And, like, Gadget's an Auctioneer. So, like, you have the potions in there mainly to cycle with Gadget, but, like, you can also combo them off of something like this.
Right. Yeah.
It just, like, opens up some cool ideas for deck construction. That's why I liked it. Nice dab.
Thanks. Destroy all bacteria.
All right, up next from I'm a Dragon, we have a 5 mana 4/5 legendary neutral minion called Hakar the Soul Flayer. He battle cries to change your hero's hero power to Corrupted Blood. So since it's neutral, you can play this with any class, and your hero power would become Corrupted Blood, 2 mana. Give a minion at the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to your hero. So I just really love the design of the hero power, mainly, is the thing that I like about this. Because it becomes at least as good as... You alright?
That thing's happening. Go on.
Okay. It becomes at least as good as Steady Shot from Hunter. Because you target an opponent's minion with this, pass the turn, 2 damage is dealt to face. But it's also so much more than that, because now your opponent feels like they have to kill it off. So even if they wouldn't normally have, they're incentivized to trade that minion off. Or if they can't trade it off, like say again you're playing this in Mage where you can freeze the board or whatever, you can just start putting this on all of your opponent's minions and denying them the ability to remove those minions from the board.
Yeah.
And it's just an intricate back and forth, because you're not dealing any damage to the minions, so you're allowing your opponent to build a board, and you're just like cheesing out this damage in this interesting, weird little way. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's... Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Oh my god.
So Dookie has these like fits that I don't know what they're caused by. I don't know if you know.
I don't either.
But he just goes into these sneezing rages. It's like, it's crazy.
But I agree with you about this card. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Thank you, I'm a Dragon.
I can't really talk a whole lot. I mean, I don't know. It'll go away.
Up next from DJ Fresh, we have Blood Pact, which is 2 mana. Next time, it's a Warlock spell, epic. The next time your hero takes damage on your turn, deal the same amount of damage to your opponent's hero. So there's a ton of Warlock stuff that hurts you, of course. It's not usually for a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But even just getting a little bit of extra damage on your opponent's face from, like, playing, Flame Imp, if you top deck that late or whatever, he becomes a 3/2 with a lightning bolt to your opponent's face packed in for 2 mana.
Yeah. What I see this really going well with is that thing that deals you 5 every time you summon a minion.
Oh, Unlicensed Apothecary?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Because then this is just, like, that just screams Zoo. Because you want to run that because it's a big, cheap minion, and that's great for an aggro deck. And then this just becomes better than Kill Command. So...
Yeah, you're right. You just Blood Pact and then play, a little minion alongside of it. The Unlicensed Apothecary hits you for 5 from the minion, and you've just done 2 mana for 5 damage. So.
Or Bad Cam 2 brings up a good point. Play this and then play Fellfire Potion, and your opponent's taking 10.
Yeah, so I mean that's an 8 mana combo, but for 10 damage, that's way better than something like Pyroblast.
Pyroblast, yeah.
And you could even run like the half decent minion that it is just becomes better. Pit Lord, 4 mana 5/6.
And he deals you 5.
Yeah, exactly. So your opponent would be taking 5 from that, but probably best case scenario is the Fellfire Potion because 10 burst damage coming out of nowhere is insane. So super cool card. Yeah, I like it. It reminds me of a deck. We always got to talk about Magic. Reminds me of that attrition. What's it called? Not attrition. What was that red deck I made? It was called the enchantment that made your opponent take damage when minions took damage.
Oh.
I can't
Repercussion.
remember. Yeah, Repercussion. Yeah, you could then target all your burn. It's like kind of what Mage needs in Hearthstone, right? Because you end up having to throw so much of your burn at board just so you don't die.
Yeah.
Just imagine if there was a spell like for Mage that was said 2 mana. Whenever you deal damage to minions this turn, their controller takes that much damage.
Yeah.
So basically doubling the effectiveness of your burn and using it as removal at the same time. So.
Yeah, no, this one's super interesting.
Yeah, I like that. All right, thanks, DJ. Up next from Lekman24, we have one that's like a wall of text. And like I was like turned off at first because it's a ton of text, but it's a really cool ability, so stick with us. It's 10 mana. It's called Bloodflow Summons. It's an epic spell for Warlock. And it says, discover a demon whose mana cost is equal to or less than the amount of damage your cards have dealt you and summon it. So, let's say you're running Flame Imps and you're running the 2 mana 2/4 Taunt that deals you 2 damage when you play it. And just all those cards that we've just talked about, Pit Lord, blah, blah, blah. And you've stacked up, like you've dealt yourself like 12 damage at this point or something.
Yeah.
So you play this card for 10, and you can discover any demon that costs 12 or less. Obviously, you're just going to pick the best one. But what if it doesn't cost 12? What if you pick like Abyssal Enforcer and you've got 5 left over? Well, you repeat this process until the total cost of all demons summoned by the card's effect are equal to or less than the amount of damage your cards have dealt you, or you control 7 minions, of course, because you just can't summon anymore at that point. So basically, you try to deal yourself a ton of damage with those good tempo cards that hurt you for how good they are, and then you come in the late game with this, summon a whole bunch of demons, making up for like that damage that you've taken over the game. It's definitely, it's like wordy, but I really like the idea behind it.
Yeah, you just keep summoning demons until you've summoned equal to the damage you've taken from your own shit, and then boom. Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's just like, it reminds me of like blood magic from Dragon Age, where you're just like using your life essence to summon these things and just decimate your opponent. It's cool. Yeah. And also, you're getting around like discovering and just summoning onto the board demons is particularly good because a lot of demons have negative battle cries.
It's true. You can grab a Doom
cards. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea. I like it. It kind of fills the same sort of slot that zoo decks that run Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw this. It's kind of like Gul'dan, where it's going to bring out a whole bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. So
this could potentially even be like better, just because you could, probably have a decent chance of discovering, just like Lakari Fellhounds and like stuff that you wouldn't include in a deck. Like you have access to anything. So it's cool. Yeah. All right, so that's it for our listener submissions. I fight for the user. And thank you for everyone who submitted for this week's challenge. We always cap off this segment with our own creations. We rise to our own challenge. So Dookie's up is first with Blood Moon.
Yeah, just short story behind this. I always try to incorporate some WoW lore with my card creations, but I was a blacksmith on my main in WoW, and once you got to at least in Burning Crusade, once you got to epic level blacksmithing, you could make some really badass weapons. And Blood Moon was an axe you could make, and it was basically just like gobs of strength and crit. So I made Blood Moon a card. It's a 6 mana, 4 attack, 4 durability, and you have a 50% chance to deal double damage when attacking.
So that's representing critical hit.
That
chance.
is representing the critical hit chance. It may be a little OP at a 4/4, maybe a 4/3. Now that I think about it, but yeah, the idea is it's a little bit of a gamble. You could try to kill something with more than 4 health if you desperately need to, or you could be like, oh, maybe I'll get lethal, maybe I won't. So, the fact that it has that effect built into it is obviously a bonus. It's just you don't know when you're going to get the bonus. So
yeah,
you have to keep that in mind when you're swinging with this thing. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's the Blood Moon.
Definitely. I like it, and I totally get where you're coming from with like representing crit chance from the weapon, but like that's so much more tilting in Hearthstone than it is in a game like WoW, Like the numbers, consistency in numbers is so important in a card game. It's just like it's giving me bad flashbacks of like 50-50 rag shots, which it's really comparable to, because you could deal 4 or 8 damage. So it's kind of like, are you going to get the 8 or not? Like, it's kind of, we're right back into that rag position, which is so funny because it's Warrior, and Warrior is the only one who can still do rag shots at this point with the quest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like like Warrior is the Ragnaros class.
I definitely get that.
Yeah, but no, it's cool though. I do like it.
Techie on Railgun brings up the magic card called Blood Moon, which is a red enchantment that makes all non-basic lands... Or wait, I think it's all lands. No, it makes all lands mountains.
That's so terrible.
So,
oh my god.
Fuck your multicolored deck.
Or fuck any deck that's not red. I'm sure it's non-basic.
Maybe it's non-basic.
It's gotta be non-basic.
Yeah, maybe it's non-basic.
Like, any deck still, that's not red dies.
Yeah, that's true. It's non-basic.
Yeah.
But I love that card.
Yeah. No, I remember you playing that on me. Distinctly.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. And up last is my card. It's a 4-mana epic rogue spell called Blood Poison. It says, give your weapon... whenever a character takes damage from this weapon, it takes that much damage at the start of your next turn. So, this was clearly made with Kingsbane in mind.
Oh, yeah.
So you definitely want to hit this on Kingsbane along with, your deadly poisons and stuff, so that it really stacks up to being a lot of damage when you're doubling it. You have to survive to your next turn to get that double damage effect. So, even if, double your weapon damage will kill a minion, it's not going to die until the start of your next turn. So, I don't feel that it's overpowered, even though it is, straight up doubling your weapon's damage. There's still a lot of, considerations that you have to make with your attacks. And this also isn't bad on just, a normal rogue weapon like Assassin's Blade, which doesn't ever really get played anymore, but a 3/4 that can deal 6 damage to face when enchanted with this thing. So you could hit that with it as well. But I always like damage over time effects and stuff. So
of course.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. So I just wanted to try to include that on a weapon. That's
it's cool. I mean, it's doubling damage is powerful. But Rogue doesn't have weapons that deal that much damage.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So it's not going to be too ridiculous unless you get that 13/3 Kingsbane with lifesteal, and then you're doing this, and you're like, well, you can take 26 next turn.
I mean, that's literally pretty much a pipe dream. That would never happen. But this card is only balanced because it's Rogue. If it was in any other weapon class, it wouldn't be okay because the weapons they have are better. Warrior, Blood Poison on an Arcanite Reaper, and you're just...
Yeah,
that's not
and
all right.
Even Paladins would be kind of messed up.
Yeah, but even if you ended up having to throw this on a Wicked Knife or whatever, it might just get you there,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, and I like it. It's well designed. It's balanced.
Those are the words. You know what to say to me.
Balanced.
Well designed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that does it for that card submission challenge. And like, I thought I had a really good idea for the next one, but then I remembered that you already did it. Because
What was it?
Well, we were talking about how we never play any other games, and we don't get to like experience, the new games that come out in a year. So I was gonna say, design a card based off of another game that you like, but we did that.
Well, I mean, Hearthstone recycles tavern brawls, so why can't we recycle card creation prompts?
Too true. So I'll word it a little bit differently. Make a Hearthstone card, based off of like one of your favorite characters from your favorite game from 2017. Because Dookie and I need to catch up on all the gaming we missed out on last year. So fill us in on what was good in some Hearthstone cards.
Okay. All right. So I'm making Samus.
Yeah, and I'm making... Oh, God. What am I making? I
making,
literally don't think I
played... You're making a Hearthstone card of a Hearthstone card.
That's right. I'm just going to make another... I'm going to make Vol'jin. I'm just going to get a picture of Vol'jin and just put it for my card submission challenge.
The card will be called Vol'jin Hearthstone card.
Vol'jin.
Shuffle of Vol'jin into your deck.
Vol'jin from Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us for episode 29 of the Salty Dog. That does it for our show today. Dookie,
right.
You want to let them know where they can find us?
Yes, indeed. You can follow us on Twitter at Salty Dog Podcast for our Salty Dog Twitter. I am at Dookie Shed. Clash is at KLASHE_HS. You can check out. I'm streaming regularly on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my my own channel, which is just twitch.tv/DookieShed. And then we are streaming on Tuesdays now, as we mentioned before, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. May not be Hearthstone. We're just gonna kind of do whatever we want. And if you wouldn't mind giving us good ratings wherever you listen to our show, be it YouTube or any of your podcast apps, we would really appreciate it.
Definitely.
So with that being said, thank you all for joining us.
Keep an eye on our Twitter as well, because we're going to be tweeting out more regularly for questions for the podcast that we can answer, and also we might be taking some polls and stuff for what games we should play during our Tuesday gameplay streams. So show our Twitter some love, send us those cards, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Until then, stay salty, guys.
Stay salty.